2023 is the year for BMW. It's a brand that's really on a roll. It's always had a lot of action in the Indian market, but this is the year where we're also talking numbers. We're talking about new market segments, new products as well. Like I said, it's all happening, and it's happening on most of the segments and brands that the group controls here in India. Let's talk about that with Vikram Pawah, who also has news for us about how we have further progressed into a very successful year. Welcome, Vikram.
Thank you, Siddharth. Always a pleasure talking to you. And you're right, yeah, we're having a great year as we promised. And I think the words that come to my mind is that we're riding a growth story. Absolutely riding a growth story, because I think last we met was July. We spoke about having a record first half. After that, quarter three has been even more fantastic. Quarter three, our car business has grown by 17%, right? Not only that, we had the best ever quarter three sales in our history. And we broke the record for the best monthly sales in the history of 16 years. So that shows that strategy is working. You know, the customers are appreciating the kind of products we are bringing in, the kind of engagements we are doing with our customers. So absolutely the right mix now. And I think this growth story will continue as we go into festive season.
I was going to say, you might break it again, because, you know, we've still got the seemingly most
Records
successful.
are meant to be broken. Records are meant to be
Yeah,
broken.
because I mean, this year, you know, the festivals have come a little later in the year, so we've still got a very, very action-packed November ahead of us. October, of course, itself is looking pretty promising. But, you know, talk to me about how this has come about. There's, of course, the strategy, there's, of course, the products, and that's something we spoke about last time. But there's also got to be something to, you know, how the consumer has once again seen a lot of exuberance, a lot of excitement, and new consumers coming back to you as well.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I think we always said that the only way you can continue a sustainable growth is if you're growing this segment. And that's the strategy we adopted from day one. And now it's actually giving us results. So if I look at the kind of products we have launched, so if you look at a growth segment for us is the entry-level SUV, which is the X1. When we launched the new X1, we're getting almost 76% of customers that are new to premium. That's a great news, because that means more people are adapting to premium given the product content. The second growth story for us is electric. You know, that also brings in a lot of people who haven't been in premium actually, and that surprised us.
I was going to say, it's something people didn't see coming.
Your detractors
certainly didn't.
But we did bet on it. You know that we launched 3 products in 180 days. Since then, now we just launched the 5th electric product in the portfolio. So
which got sold out in hours.
In 3 hours, the entire allocation for 2023 is gone. You're right. So that again shows if you have the right product with the right value proposition for the customer, they will adapt to it and they will appreciate it. So we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to grow the electric portfolio. We'll continue to grow the entry-level portfolio. But also at the same time, we're delivering more value to the people who are already in premium. So again, when I look at my luxury class, which is 7 Series, the i7, the X7, they're growing by 102% as well. So you can see growth of people coming into premium and also people growing within premium segment as well, either way.
In fact, I remember the last time as well, that was a very key focus area, in fact, of our conversation, how the luxury set is, you know, perhaps again outperforming what, not just the market, but also what you would have expected maybe. How is that, I mean, is that only likely to become even more robust with the festive sales?
I expect that, and also with our supplies improving, because I think we had a lot of waiting period for our 7 Series and i7 customers. So thanks for our customers again for waiting for it first. But I think the demand continues to be even stronger, because that product is a classical example of what is luxury for India. You know, with that screen at the back, with the kind of technology that goes into that car, the kind of comfort that is offered, that's an absolute winner. And that's going to be a leader in that segment. We're very sure about it. And at the same time, the X7, which is a full-size SUV, a 7-seater SUV, also continues to outperform. It's almost double our sales now since last year.
And, you know, there's, of course, anticipation about other cars that are coming still, like the new 5 Series, and then there's the i5. So I know the action will continue. But, you know, in the old sort of analysis of annual sales, you'd always have these standouts, like the 5 Series, for example. Is it like that now, or is it so nicely distributed?
It is well distributed. So let's say, okay, we're talking about luxury class. So 1 in 5 cars that we sell is actually luxury class. Same way 1 in 5 is actually X1. Right? So when I look at first 9 months of my sale, if I pick the 3 models that are the best sellers, is X1, 3 Grand Limousine, and X7. So very well distributed between the 3 mid, you know, entry, mid, and the top.
And the 3GL is one where, again, we don't tend to focus our attention on it, but it steadily keeps.
It
sort of doing
continues to
well.
grow. It continues to grow. Again, a classical example of you bring the right product for India with comfort, luxury as the framework, and of course driving performance, which we are known for. That combination is working really well. We have customers now coming back with stories saying that this is a car which is a perfect family car for the weekday, and then my own car on the weekend at the same time. You know, I'm getting best of both worlds. So yeah, it works for us.
And it drives really well despite being the longer wheelbase, you know, for all the...
All BMWs drive well.
Yeah, it's I was going to say it's a BMW.
Of course.
The learnings you have from that though, in terms of, you know, the long wheelbase part itself, from an engineering or a production point of view, and then of course what the customer feedback or the dealers feedback has been. Does it set you up for more such models? I mean, you know where I'm going with this, the 5 Series.
I know where you're going with that, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, of course, we've always promised that we'll bring all the products that are suitable for India. So, you know, if there is a long wheelbase available in 5 Series, of course, we'll bring it to India at the right time. But it purely depends on the demand from customer side. So at the moment, there are 2 long wheelbases that we have, if you really look at it. Yeah. One is the 3 Grand Limousine, the other one is 7 Series. They're addressing both those segments. But what we'll also see is that every product that we are launching is actually more spacious or a little bit longer than the previous generation. So if you look at the X1 that we launched, is actually got a longer wheelbase than the previous generation. So we are providing the element of comfort and luxury more and more with our cars.
And in fact, its cabin is really well appointed.
It is the X1, and that's exactly the feedback. I mean, somebody just told me that they used to own an old X3, and the parking spot now, the new X1 actually fits into that perfectly. So that's a classical example of how the models grow with time as well.
And in terms of tech and interior, it's probably superior anyway.
It is one of the best ones in the country.
Being the latest sort of from the brand. You know, this aspect of how you find now that you've had a record first half, again a record quarter. I'm assuming it's going to be a record year by the end of it.
It is going to be a record year. We can clearly see it is absolutely on track for that, record year. Yeah.
What happens next year? Like, how do you now build for next year?
Grow further. So we continue this growth story because I think, like I said, the strategy is now in place. The customer engagements are in place. Now we just need to make sure we consistently deliver on those promises. So one of the things we promised, for example, was electric very clearly, right? I'm very confident we'll continue to grow that space very quickly as well with 5 solid products now. We just crossed the milestone of 1,000 electric delivery, which is a big thing in such a short time. It's almost less than 2 years that we have been able to deliver 1,000 cars. So that's great. The demand is still high. The waiting periods are still high on our electric product. And that's why to celebrate this milestone, literally we told our customers, iX is the best-selling electric premium car in the country, continues to dominate absolutely by miles. And that's why we said that, okay, we launch a special festive offer for the iX now. Asking our customer, you come in, you get a really subsidized interest rate because we really want people to adapt to electric more and more.
And having more of them on the road always, then we already know what that does.
I think it helps the agenda for the country as well for electrification of the fleet, and I think we're happy to lead that.
Now, Vikram, Mini remains niche, always was, so that part's not a surprise, but there was a huge sort of a statement or a switch in direction to a certain extent from the brand at the big unveils in Munich last month. There is this whole sense of excitement around that now because maybe people are viewing the brand a little differently. Does it become more appealing in the Indian context with the electric push?
I think it will. I think Mini Electric is already well accepted in India. If you look at it, that was one of the first Mini that came in, the first electric cars that we launched. Yeah. So really well adapted.
And also did better than expected.
It is absolutely doing much better than expected, which is fantastic. And I think with the next generation, with the new battery technology, it even goes further. The cars are more spacious in future and more range. So that really addresses even further needs of those niche customers. So I expect the Mini brand to grow over the years as well.
And so you would very clearly be looking at doing that next year with the Countryman Electric.
Well, of course, we will bring things in
of course the
at the right time and the right time. And of course, we've said that we will have a power of choice for our customers. So we're living to that promise. If you look at it, X1 is now available in petrol, diesel, and electric. 7 Series is available in petrol, diesel, and electric. So we have all the options for our customers to choose from now.
I had a very interesting thing happen just 2 days ago where I saw 740 in traffic. Really horrible traffic, but so it stood out. Right here, getting out of Gurgaon. Yeah. And then as I got onto the highway, I was just thinking, I caught up to it to see is it the i7 or the 740. And then literally 3 minutes later, there was an i7.
Right opposite.
So on the same day, got to see both. So yeah,
Well, you see a lot of
it
them.
was a
these
sign.
days. You see a lot of them actually.
Yeah,
So
you do.
we really,
iX as well.
yeah, iX as well. There are plenty of deliveries that have happened. So I mean, imagine 1,000 cars being delivered in the country, and now they're operating on the road. So you will start seeing them more and more.
So is that the challenge for you now in terms of getting more allocation or getting, because you're
No,
also
we
trying
are
to do,
getting- we are getting
you're
the
trying to do a
attention.
lot of local production anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, most 90% of what we sell is locally produced in any case. So that's there.
how much
But-
of a challenge is that to keep increasing? Because getting kits is not easy. We already know that.
Yeah, but now it's smoothing us because now we are delivering a consistent growth. So obviously then the supplies become much more reliable. When you have just peaks and drops, then it's not easy to keep up with the supply. But I think now that we know the electric demand is there's still waiting periods. So we are ahead in terms of demand compared to supply, and we're getting the right products to India now, what customers need really. Yeah.
From what I hear, you really have the attention of the board.
Of course we do. India has the attention
you
of the
always
world.
did.
India has the attention of the world, that, right? So I
No,
think
but
it's quite obvious.
especially this year, there has been a keener focus, let's say.
I think India is the strategic market for us, and I think it is the right time for India because you look at it statistically, the growth is visible. The industry overall is the top 3 in the world now. You can see the momentum over the next 10 years very clearly with the younger population coming into the consumption phase, and that's where you see India really growing. And we are ready for it. We are ready with the products. We are ready with the production. We are ready with receiving our customers. So absolutely there.
No, it's exciting times, and I have to say the cars have also been sort of outliving and outperforming our expectations. Motorrad also has seen a lot of action this year.
Yes.
Is that something, that momentum that we expect to continue? I ask now in the context of how a lot of the brands are getting into the more mass end of the market, something that you had done already. Is there going to be more on that end of the market?
We expect the growth to continue at the same pace. So I think we are at 26% growth in the 3 quarters of 2023. And also recently, only a couple of days ago, we actually crossed last year's sales as well. So that shows that there is still good demand, even though there's more competition, which I always said it's welcome because the more people come into the fold, the leader always benefits from that. And I expect that growth to continue next year as well. But the good thing what's happening is the strategy of bringing again more people into the premium biking is actually also working, because this year is the year when we are seeing 25% growth in our core bikes as well, in the bigger bikes as well. So that shows that the more that people come into premium biking, the more they graduate up. That actually works.
25% is substantial.
It is a substantial
it's not a small
growth,
number.
yeah. And we'll surprise you with the milestone in that number as well by the end of the year.
By the end of the year? All right, I'll hold you to that. The reason I ask, of course, was because in the past when we've spoken, you've always said that, look, we don't want to become that volume oriented. We don't want to drop to not being premium.
Absolutely.
But having said that, this graduating element that you spoke about, do you also see that what was the mass space, since it's now becoming mass premium, does that give you a little bit of a nicer entry?
We are still in the premium space. I don't think we are in
No,
the
but you
mass
see more
stage.
people now ready to make that leap to you.
Yes, they are. Because I think clearly the aspiration level works. And I think once you have your friends and family who are getting into that gives you a bit of encouragement that, okay, it is the right thing to do. They can see that it was relevant for my friend, so it should be relevant for me as well. And that's where we are seeing a lot of traction even more. So the more bikes that we have delivered in that segment, the more customers actually we got back.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one last aspect I want to talk about, which again we've discussed in the past, but I know you keep sort of doing a lot of work on, is about convincing the customer, saying this is worth their time, money, and all of that. The products are already doing their job. We are now seeing a lot more interesting finance packages, and there's been so much work that's been done by financial services. Is that going to be an area where we might also see certain announcements or certain improvements next year?
Yes, of course. Innovation and new things keep on happening in that area. I mean, the latest one I can share with you, for example, the mini electric we were just talking about, a very niche product, again, something that we want more and more people to try. So we recently launched a very simple program that you can own a mini electric for 1 year by paying only 8.5 lakhs. That's actually nothing if you really look at it. You get the experience of mini, and I'm sure when customers buy that, they want to stick with the product as well. But that's the kind of promise we are making to our customer, that we are putting our commitment behind these products. We are going to make it easier for you to access it. Even last month, we had the best ever penetration or the write-up of our the guaranteed future value product, which is 360 degree for the business, really. So you can see that people are seeing value in that. And electric is a great way to connect with it. There are some, let's say, doubts about electric in people's mind. And I think the best way to address that is buy it under a 360-degree program, right, which has everything covered in it. You know exactly what your cash outlay is going to be for the lifetime that you want to keep it for. So it's an easy way to own an electric. It's predefined, absolutely. You know you're going to pay 35 lakhs for 3 years. That's it. You know, you're not going to be hit with any surprises. It's a reliable program. It's backed by us, not by a third party. So it's very reliable from that matter. So these things are making a difference. Our service packages have always been one of the most popular ones. That really helps people to make sure that they're maintaining their cars regularly without any hassle of, you know, paying anything extra. So all these things help in removing hurdles, you know, and the doubts that people have that what if I step over to that side kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, which is always the doubt. RSA, is that something where you might...
RSA is, I think
there's certainly been a lot of action from your
It's a hygiene factor now, so I think it's a pretty standard thing that's with all our products now. Rather with electric, actually, we even enhanced it a little bit more, you know, in terms of the mobility solutions within that, or, you know, emergency charging and those kind of things. We added even more innovation to those products, which people are really appreciating.
But would you look to increase durations? Because some of your rivals are now going to 10 years and 8 years.
We can offer, but I think it's becoming a stock standard thing for people to now keep it, right? So, but we are offering a value what our customers, I don't think our customers are keeping cars for 10 years, so we really want to offer something that's more valid for them. Yeah, so right. We don't believe in doing this, you know, gizmo thing that people think, oh, wow, that's great, but yeah, if a customer is owning for 10 years, we're happy to offer them at a very competitive price or as a package, no doubt. But we've seen the average, you know, ownership period is around 3 years.
All right, so why don't you leave us with something to look forward to in terms of, I'm not going to say a specific model name or anything like that, but new product action, you know, how many models would you look at, or is there some sort of a particular thing that's important for next year or even for the end of this year?
So normally next year we'll normally talk somewhere in January and we'll declare the number of models we'll talk, but when we spoke about that we will launch 25 products this year. So we are already 19 products launched.
I was going to say you're not done yet.
We're not done yet, so still action in it going. I mean, you just saw the addition of Mini that was launched recently. You've heard about the iX1 that was launched, sold in 3 hours. So there's still a little bit of excitement left in the balance 3 months. But what I can promise you, it'll be a record year for sure. It'll be a very exciting year, and then we'll have a big bang start with January as well.
iX1, by the way, another allocation. Is there something being worked out? Because there are people who want...
This year it's already locked allocation, so now 2024 bookings will open up.
But would you accelerate it or enhance the number for 2024?
Of course we will. Of course we will, no doubt about it. We were expecting that. We knew that it'll be a hot seller. But of course we wanted to make sure that people you know, get the first deliveries during this festive season first, and then we get the next lot of deliveries next year.
It's all sounding very exciting, and the new product part always excites me, as you know. Can't wait to see those coming in, and congratulations to you and the team.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for all your wishes, all the best. Thank you.
Happy Diwali.
To you as well. Thank you.